Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday and welcome to Open Office Hours. I'm Crystal. I'll let the ladies introduce themselves.
Hey everybody, it's Tatiana. Welcome.
Hi everyone, I'm Brandy. Nice to see you guys.
Hey everybody, it's Hannah. Welcome.
Yes, welcome, welcome, welcome. So this is Open Office Hours. For those of you that are returning, thank you so much. It's great to see everybody. We love this. This is the best part of our week. And for those of you that are joining us for the first time, again, welcome. Let me give you a little bit of information about kind of the flow here. So what we like to do is use the Q&A. It's a lot easier for us to organize questions as they're rolling in. Aside from using the chat, we use that internally if we want to send you links and that sort of thing, but we're going to be primarily focused on the Q&A, so drop your questions there. And then it's worth just saying it really does not matter what your questions are. Whether you have never even looked at Syncro, maybe you're in the middle of a trial, or you've been a customer for years, you're more than welcome to just drop those questions in there. We're pretty transparent. So if there's anything that we can't answer, we'll either on the back end be trying to find out through technical support, or we might refer you to submit a ticket for that. But I see some questions kind of flowing in already, which is awesome. And last little note that I'll just say is that we always do record these. So if this is the first time that you're joining and you find some value here, check out our YouTube channel because there's a ton of recordings in there that we also do deep dives every once in a while. So I encourage you to look there, but I'll go ahead and hand it on over to Brandy.
Awesome. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good weekend, right? It's weekend for some and I'm jealous. Okay, so a couple of questions in here. Rob has a question about Cloudberry, the API. We had to update our API credentials for MSP 360. Now when we go to the App Center and select MSP 360 and click the test button, it fails. We have checked with MSP 360 and verified that the new credentials are correct. Any ideas? I would absolutely recommend reaching out to support unless you guys have a better idea. We don't have access to the account and we aren't able to see Cloudberry either. So I would reach out to support for sure. I'll also post over to support and see if they have any ideas while we're on the call. But if they are technical support related or troubleshooting, as much as we would love to help you, we aren't able to today. And then Rob has a question about upsell. So you can add upsell and it works really well when creating an invoice, but it does not seem to work when you're creating a recurring invoice. So really, really great question or comment, I guess. He's right. It doesn't work. I did just test and see if it worked from recurring invoices. I'll bring that to the team. I'm not sure if that's by design or not. And I'm assuming it's when you're just adding like a standard line item. And even if you don't select one-time charge, it doesn't populate. What he's referring to, and I'm going to show you because this is a great way for you all to make additional money and not forget about all of the additional things you can sell to your customers. So when I go to create I had already put Larry in here. Let's just find Larry's business. I can create an invoice for this particular customer. And then when I'm going to add any items, and keep in mind, this will also occur when you're creating an estimate. So I can put in a product here and I have already tied this product to an upsell opportunity. So it's going to pop up when I go sell a laptop. It's going to say, hey, do you want to buy a mouse? And so I can do that. So just like when you go to Best Buy and you purchase an appliance and when you get to checkout, they're like, hey, do you want to add the extended warranty, right? So you can choose if you want to, you're selling a device to someone. Do they want to add MSP services, antivirus backup, you name it? I'm onboarding a new client and maybe I have a product for that. Do you want to add these additional services? So just a great way for you to do so. And I'm going to show you too, since we don't have a ton of questions in the product section. When you are creating new products, you'll just pop over to upsell opportunities and you can add the additional products that are going to pop up when you add this product. So Rob, and I'm sorry that it's not working on the recurring invoices. It looks like that's by design, but let me just bring that to the team and see if it's something that we would add in the future.
Awesome. Thank you, Brandy. I'm going to grab this one from Jason. Just wanted to let you know, Rob, on the first question that you had this morning, I'm doing a little bit of research on the back because I don't know for sure. So just letting you know, Rob, we're not skipping over that question. So from Jason, how how are tiered SLAs used for contracts and agreements within Syncro? I'm coming from ConnectWise Manage. Okay, great question. So let me share my screen because I think one thing to note, whenever you're coming over from a competitor, things are like, not only are they called something different sometimes in Syncro, but they act a little bit different. So let me go ahead and share my screen here and just kind of walk you through the way that we use service level agreements and contracts. And I think also what's worth noting is that agreements in ConnectWise usually translate to reoccurring invoices in Syncro. So just kind of like being up on the different kind of ways that we say things. So if I head over to contracts, let me just show you, we've got view service level agreements here. So I'm just going to hop over because there's a lot of different ways that you can actually handle this in regards to it being like tiered essentially. So you can have service level agreements that you create and then you can attach them to a customer. So like if you have a VIP customer that has like a very different service level agreement, you can attach that on a contract level. So once you create the service level agreement, then on the actual contract, you can apply that. So let me just show. So once you create the service level agreement, you can then apply it to a contract and you can have it like you can contract applies to all tickets and you can say yes and assign the service level agreement. So if it's on like a per customer basis, you can do that. In addition to that, let's just kind of, again, I think we have a couple minutes. So I'm just going to go to ticket automations too. And then there's so many different ways that you can kind of handle this. So I'm just going to show a few just to kind of maybe spark some ideas and maybe you'll know exactly what would work best for your business. But if like you have a customer with a service level agreement, that is a condition on a ticket automation. So depending like if it is like has an assigned SLA of like a 24-hour resolution or whatever, and you're like, okay, it hasn't been updated in an hour or something, just to make sure that never gets breached. Of course, we have notifications on service level agreements, so you can get notified in that kind of thing. And then you can have actions to let you know or update the ticket or whatever that looks like. And then the last thing I want to show, just because it kind of depends too on like where your customers are creating tickets for you. So this is getting a little bit long-winded, but I just want to like show you a couple different options here. If you go into your agent contact forms, and this is what like your customer, you can add to a system tray icon. So if your customers are creating tickets from like their desktop, one of the things, like if you go into, say this is like an emergency, you can actually have the system tray icon show that it's an emergency essentially. And you can then set an issue type, you can assign it to a specific technician. And then from there, like if this customer has that service level agreement, it can also come pre-attached with an issue type and you can work automations that way. If anyone else has any ideas of what to add here, but I think that's kind of how you could handle almost creating a tiered service level agreement setup with your customers, because I think the primary thing that we normally hear is like, okay, if it's this type of ticket, I want it to be this priority, this type of ticket, that priority. So this is kind of like a way to sort of manage that. So hopefully that helps.
Oh, I think that's me. Okay, so the next question from William says, the best way to use spiffs or commission to track time and items sold by tech. I have several part-time techs that I pay based on ticket time plus materials, and I'm trying to figure out the best way to track that. So I don't know if this is the best way. This is a way to do it. So in our reports section, if you head on down to employees, we do have a sales and commission report that I like. This is great because you can choose just one particular employee if you would like to, and then I can add how much commission they're going to receive, and then I can run this report. You can also choose which categories, like which products you're going to give them a commission on. So if you're not going to give them commission on labor, but just particularly like hardware parts, you'll be able to choose the category there. And then you can see, okay, here's everything that this particular employee has done. They've done a lot, and I'm going to scroll down to the bottom and see their commissions here. So this would be a way that I would recommend using this report. And again, it's just under the employee section on our reports. Hopefully that helps.
Awesome. Thank you, Brandy. Garrett has a question. Any way to not have sales tax show as a line item on estimates and invoices? People think we are charging tax twice because it's a line item and tax under subtotal. The overall total is correct, and it's just visually confusing for people, apparently. And so I'm just going to show my screen to show you guys what Garrett is referring to. And so in a specific invoice here, when we take a look at the invoice PDF, but then it does show the tax here as well as provide you kind of a subtotal of the tax. And so I think it's just specifying if a particular item is taxed versus not taxed, that then we want to show what the particular tax is being applied to that item. So I don't think that there's a particular way to remove that as adding it as a line item, because that is programmed on the back end. If you are looking to edit your PDF and email templates, you can go to the admin section and then go into the invoice template. So I don't know if, and you can customize these per customer. So for those customers who are kind of getting confused, I don't know if it makes sense to then maybe remove the tax subtotal, but you could come in here and customize those. So hopefully that helps.
Super helpful. Thank you so much. I'm going to grab a question here from Rob. He says, waivers, terms and conditions. Is there a way that we can have our clients sign a waiver and have it stored against their profile? So really great feature request. I will show you for those who are new. We do have estimates built into Syncro. It's not the same as a waiver, but your customer can approve an estimate via the customer portal. So if you go over to your more and then estimates section, you can build one out. You can make sure that you publish it. So this 1212 should now populate in the customer portal. Yes, they can approve the estimate. So I'm going to go ahead. As you can see, it's not here yet. We're going to refresh. It will appear. They can approve the estimate. You can turn on a notification that lets you know, hey, an estimate was approved. And so they would click approve. They can preview that PDF. Hannah just showed you guys where you can edit this PDF. And then once they do click approve, again, I just let you know that you can get a notification about it. You would go back to this estimate, and then you can turn this estimate either into a ticket or into an invoice. But for your specific request, there isn't a way to collect a signature for a waiver or terms and conditions, things like that. And you cannot collect a signature for estimates either. But there is, if you go over to your contract section, you can, once you do have that signed PDF or that signed piece of paper that you want to scan and upload to a contract, there is a place for you to store that here within the contract details section. Just like this, you can add the file and make sure that it's attached to this customer's profile. So hopefully that helps. And then the second question that I had here is from Shane. He says, is there a quick or easy way to see tickets or assets by contact? It would be great if it worked like it does for the customer in the search bar, but any other tips to get there quickly? At this time, Shane, the best advice that I have for you is just to make sure you have that column enabled. You most likely do, but for those that are new here within the assets and RMM section, these columns right here are customizable by you. So if you want to make sure that you have your contact enabled here, and you can kind of drag and drop and rearrange those as needed. But this is where you assign the contact to the asset. You can create a saved customer search here. That is a new search functionality that's available through Syncro that we just very, very recently added. So if you wanted to create either a saved customer search here and then just quickly access that and then kind of just take a look by contact. Again, there is no search field for contact specifically here or up here, but just make sure you have that column enabled here for quick access. That would be kind of my best tip there.
Awesome. Thanks. Okay. Rob, back to your question. This is a product question. We need to find a way to show if we have the tax field checked in our products. Is there a report or something that can show this without having to edit each product? So I did check in with one of our awesome technical support members, and the easiest way to do this is actually to just export your products and services and look at it from like a CSV view to see if it's enabled, and then you would know which ones to go in and make and edit if it's not enabled. As far as finding them on an invoice, I think it's kind of similar. Like you could export line items from invoices and that sort of thing. I think you can also you might be able to run like the sales report to see if any of those inventory items that you found that didn't have tax enabled, if they were on any of your invoice instances. Like you could, I think you could search the sales line items that way too. So hopefully that helps. Really good question. Let's see here. Oh, and then with that said, I guess you don't even, you can skip a step. You don't even have to go in and edit each product that you find that doesn't have tax. You can just update the CSV and then re-upload. I didn't know why I didn't think about that. So hopefully that helps and we'll save you some time there. I'm going to read this one. We've got a question in from Charles. It's a couple levels of questions. So I'm just going to read it out now loud. I like to know if there are any new automation or process you guys have that helps to resolve issues like user logon alert, just in case someone tries to do an unauthorized login to a device. 2, is there a policy that can monitor internet bandwidth, example, to know if the customer internet is dropped or dropping speed? And we do not, and the 3rd is, are we able to support Chrome OS now? So not yet on number 3. And let me just show a couple things. I'm going to share my screen and hop over into a policy. Because I have a couple of ideas here for you. So as far as an alert and like an auto resolve or something like that for a failed login, I think that what I know, my go-to, and if anyone has, or if there's someone listening in that handles this really well, please speak up and just put that into the Q&A. I would refer you to event log monitoring, because you can actually, if there's an event log ID for a failed login. So if you know that ID, you could create alerts for that to either notify you, email the customer, like, hey, security, someone's trying to log in or failed or whatever that might be. You can set up automations based upon an event log ID. So that might be worth checking out. I think that could solve that. And again, if anyone else is doing this in a different way, please let me know. And then also, is there a policy that can monitor internet bandwidth? So what I have done, what I've referred to in the past is, and I don't know enough, to be honest, I don't know enough about SNMP to like know how like monitoring network devices works, but I do know like on an asset, what we've had built in for a very long time would be the ability to like set up a ping check. So like you could do a system check, add a check here, and I'll just show, like it could be, oh, puppy. It can either be a ping or a web server. You can enter the remote host information and actually like ping a site or something, which would tell you if the internet was down. So just a thought that might work for that. I don't know if there's a way to check the actual bandwidth or internet speed, but hopefully that helps. All right, who's up?
I can take this next one. This is just referring to the portal. So happy Friday, best team. Happy Friday, best users ever in the world, literally, because you guys are around the globe. So thank you. And we are thinking about implementing the portal for each of our clients. Would you show best practices or a sample of something to go by? So absolutely. I love the customer portal. So let me just share my screen here. There's going to be a few different places. So I am going to jump around a little bit. I just want to make sure, I don't want to just show you all the portal without showing you the different settings inside. So the first step is going to be to head over into your admin section. And I would do this as a first step. And I would go down to my customers. Whoops, where are they? And I would go to the portal user permission groups. A best practice here, I'm not an MSP, so take this with a grain of salt, but what I have heard from other MSPs is to have different groups of devices or of contacts. So for your customer, you might have one person with that customer that is going to have access to viewing the financials for the business. They're going to have access to approving and declining estimates. They're going to have access to making payments. They're going to have access to the whole company's tickets. For someone like that, I would probably make a group that's like an admin portal. Call it whatever you would like, and you can give them access to everything. For another group of people, they might just be employees there. They don't need to have access to any of the financials. They don't need access to any scripting or anything like that. So I would just give them access to viewing their own tickets and creating tickets. And maybe that's all they can do from there. You might have a customer who has an internal IT department. And for them, I might actually give them access to assets, and I might give them access to running scripts. So that's a couple different ways that you could set that up. Now I'm going to head over onto the customer page itself. And I'm going to scroll a little bit further down. I'm going to find the portal user section. This is where I'm going to pull the contact from this customer, and I'm going to choose which access they have. So here I'm going to give Brandy access to the admin. I could create another one that I give access to ticket creation only, you name it. And then I'm going to show you, I'm going to delete that so I don't mess anyone up. And I'm going to show you what access to everything looks like. So this would be like that admin level. They can see their company's prepaid hours, how much they owe, what their credit balance is, their whole company's tickets, create tickets, open invoices, payments. They can make payments from here, you guys. If you're using an integrated payment processor, highly suggest utilizing that, just making it a very easy process for your customers. It's funny, I just got off a demo and he's like, you know, Syncro makes it very easy for my customers to pay me. And I'm like, that's the goal, right? We want it to be streamlined. And he's like, you would be amazed at how many other platforms out there make it hard for someone to pay you, right? So I loved that. And I'm like, hey, I'm running with it. So we make it easy for them to pay you, easy for you to make money, approve and decline estimates. This is what I was referring to. If you do have someone that's more technical, it doesn't have to be an internal IT department, but if you want them to self-service and run scripts on their own, then absolutely allow them to do so. And you can customize the color. It doesn't have to be gray like ours. If you want bright orange, you can do that in your settings as well. So hopefully that helps.
I love that. And I love it when our customers like give us sales collateral. I'm like, well, I'll use that line. I like that. No, that's really, really good. I think that's really an important thing to bring up too, especially if if you're using Syncro, awesome. If you're trialing Syncro and you're thinking about how you're going to implement this for your business, it really is the full solution. It really takes your business from start to finish. I love the idea. I've talked to a lot of MSPs over the last few years, and a common theme is I have about 37 different tools, and they may or may not talk to each other. And you're spending so much of your time, and we all know your time is very valuable and worth a lot of money. So when you're spending hours and hours trying to find different things and connect them, Syncro can really solve that for you. And I also think the part of we make it really easy for your customers to pay you, like that's gold, because I mean that's what you need to do, right? To be able to keep your business running, keep your business growing. And so I wonder, does anyone feel like just kind of like diving into reoccurring invoices and showing the different ways that you can bill your customers, because we do support so many different options?
I will. I love it. I will absolutely do that. Let me get my screen up here. And I just got off a demo where they gave me about 30 different ways that they bill their customers. And we literally went through those 30 different ways of setting up a recurring invoice. So we want this to be an easy process. We don't want you to have just one type of contract that you have, or one thing that you that you are offering your customers. We want it to be very flexible. So I'm going to show you a lot of different things on this recurring invoice. With this recurring invoice though, and I have a light on my face, I've been told, it's my window. So I'm going to show you a lot of things. You don't have to put these for every single customer. So I might have one customer. I'm going to bill them monthly and I'm just going to bill them for their resolved tickets. Boom, call it a day. That's it. If you're using one of our accounting platforms that we integrate with, QuickBooks or Xero, then seamless process that it's going to send over there for you, just for the record. I would set everything up in the Syncro side. I would absolutely use our recurring invoices. I would use our full invoicing suite. I might have another customer that monthly I'm going to give them some prepaid hours, but those are not going to roll over. So I'm going to select this option to have those clear and reset. You could have another customer that those are going to roll over. So you just wouldn't select this option here. Now, this might be the only way that you bill your customer. Time and materials, that's it. You're done. Set it and forget it. If you're using an integrated payment processor, you're going to have an additional option here to auto charge the card each month. So again, really easy way for you to get paid. And then if we scroll a little further down, there's a ton of different options and ways that you can bill your customers. And most of these are dynamic. So of course I can come in and I can add a standard line item. Maybe it's just like a monthly MSP fee that I charge my customers. And this is just going to be a one-time charge. I actually don't want to bill them next month for this. You could do that. Another option is, you know what? I want to bill my customer based on a number of endpoints. I'm going to charge them $50 a month based on those endpoints. And I'm going to go ahead and do that here. This is if I'm billing them the same amount for servers, workstations, S&MP devices, you name it. Now, I also can break it down by S&MP device. I can break it down by server workstation. I can literally bill them $2 for every single device that has Zoom installed if I want to use saved asset searches. So you can absolutely do that. I have another dynamic counter for per contact. Maybe there is something that I bill them per contact. Maybe I give them one prepaid hour each month based on a number of contacts they have. You can bill dynamically that way. You can do it per policy, which is still per endpoint. But if you want to set up a good, better, best type package, maybe one of my packages includes antivirus, I could absolutely do that. And then lastly, voila, backups is here. And now you can bill dynamically. Not only can you sell your backup solution through here, you can manage it through here, you can see how much money you're making from here. Now I have a really easy way to bill my customers. I can bill them based on a number of license counts. I can bill them based on storage. Again, this is going to populate all the storage for you. You don't have to spend time doing that. You might have a customer that you include 200 gigs a month. Whoops, I put it in the wrong spot. Anything over 200, I'm going to charge them for, and maybe I want to do that based on a number of licenses instead. I'm going to include 5 licenses in their monthly subscription, and anything over that, I'm going to charge them per month. Really, really, really easy way for you to get paid on backups. And then you can also view it in your dashboard too. So hopefully that helps. If you guys have questions, pop those in. You can mix and match any of these options onto a recurring invoice. We get that question often. If you need to make just one quick change, you can clone this and apply it to another customer too.
Awesome. That was great, Brandy. That was super good. Okay, William has a quick question. Is there a way to see invoices created but not emailed? And yes, there is. I'll go ahead and share my screen. And so here I am in the invoices module or invoices tab, and there's going to be this advanced search button. You can actually search through here, and then that way, if you'd like to see that your invoices, whether they were emailed or not. So let's say I want to see the invoices that were created but not emailed, super easy to apply that filter. That way you could check those out.
Awesome. Thanks, Hannah. Okay. I just need to read this out loud because, again, I like these one-liners that I'm just going to start using. I will say the all-in-oneness is why I moved to Syncro. So I really, I love that. Yes. Why have all of these tools all over the place? Use it all in one. And then with that, Rob was curious, and this kind of goes with what Brandy was talking about, but there's a few things I might add. It says, do you have any integrations with domain registrars so that we can bill when the domain renews? Really good question. So we don't have any direct integrations. Normally, if that's an annual renewal, every customer can have more than one reoccurring invoice. You can just set that reoccurring invoice up to automatically send to them when the renewal date is. In addition to that, it's worth just showing I'm going to just share my screen really quick. On this asset here, your assets can have custom fields that are a date field. You can have a notification pop up when that date is in. I think you have an option either like 7 days or 30 days. So if you wanted to put like their domain expiration date or something like that in an asset, you could create a notification. Or like I said, you could skip a step right from the beginning, create the reoccurring invoice. Customers can have more than one. So I might recommend that. And then let's see here. The last one, is there a service within Syncro, free or paid, where someone on the support team or anyone with real experience in Syncro could go over the customer's implementation of Syncro? Maybe suggest improvements, set up workflows, automations, and that sort of thing. So while, we don't necessarily offer like MSP consulting in-house, because I think that's essentially, what kind of you're asking for, those best practices and that sort of thing. So I think that that's really valuable. One thing that I do love is our community, whether it's through Facebook or through Reddit. I would be surprised, even maybe in this group, if someone didn't raise their hand and say, hey, shoot me an email. I'd love to chat about it, because our community is phenomenal. And I think it's worth noting, we know the product really well, and we know the features and that sort of thing, but I've never run an MSP. So like those best practices questions, I think it's really cool to be able to leverage the community. So I would recommend that. Thank you.
We'll grab the next one here from Roger, or I'm sorry, from One Stop IT Solutions. They say, I have another vendor that is trying to show value add on invoicing AR only. Not sure what AR stands for, and I am not seeing why I should add them to my new Syncro appliance, as we are getting used to the tools inside of the interface. Are there any Syncro users out there that can offer an opinion one way or another? This is a great question. We are achieving the all-in-oneness, as Crystal said, for you. So you do not need anything, just like Brandy covered for you today. Syncro can automatically create the invoice for you with the automated line items in there for you, automatically email it for you, automatically accept payment, and automatically sync to your accounting platform. You don't need to pay for anything else. It's all right here for you. So if you're looking for one solution that does everything, that is what we're here for. So I'm not a product expert on the other vendor that's pitching you, but the value that you need is already built in for you. Please don't pay anyone else for stuff that you already have with Syncro. So there you go. Hopefully that helps.
Awesome. Thank you, Tatiana. Randy, does the backup option work for any space-related billing, or is it just using Syncro backups? It is. It's just Syncro backups. So that's one of the advantages of just having everything all in one. It will just be the Syncro backups at the time. And then Gary asks, can we use macros in canned responses, like replacing the tech name and client name? Yes, so you should be able to. Let me just share my screen real quickly. I was here in my canned responses, and those are just in the admin section. It sounds like you know where those are since you've used them. But maybe one of you guys can chime in here. I know you can use tags, but where are the tags? Because usually they're in here, right? When you edit, like if I go create a new response, I think we maybe just manually put these in here.
Yeah, I think.
Does it not work?
No, that I believe that the tags work there. I think that they're the same as like what's listed in an actual ticket where you see ticket tags. So I think like it would.
You have to take them from there.
Yeah, you do. I think a quality of life request would be to have that repository right there on that
They're
screen.
normally just all down here, like when you edit any of your other template tags, but I'm pretty certain you can absolutely utilize those. You'll just need to know what they are here. So hopefully that helps save some time, and I'll hand it over.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Brandy. Richard has a question. As a new person looking at Syncro, how do you get the basic setup done and works so I do not regret the setup because I just watched 20 hours of Syncro video? That's an awesome question, Richard. We do host, especially if you're in a trial, we do host a Tuesday session of this. And so I would recommend joining that because we do break down setup a little bit in a slower pace. I did also drop this Getting Started with Syncro guide for you. And so here, this will give you a little bit of a deeper dive into each module and what can be set up in each module, which is really nice. As well as if you haven't deployed any agents, I'll go ahead and just walk you through where to customize. So first thing you want to do is go ahead and add in a customer. And so all of your assets are going to be attached to customers. So adding in a customer here. And then the next thing you want to do before you deploy is go ahead and customize a policy. Within the Facebook group as well as the subreddit, if you were curious about what other people have set up, we recommend posting in there, seeing what other people have set up. But depending on what you're monitoring for your customer, what you want in terms of remote management, the policy is where you customize all of that. Then once you have the policy customized, antivirus, whether you want backup, what you want in the system tray, that then you can easily deploy. And once you deploy, all of your assets will go ahead and populate in the Assets and RMM tab, and any alerts will populate in the Alerts tab. But definitely join us on Tuesdays as well, just for a little bit more of a basic setup flow.
Cool, thank you. I'm laughing at a question that Crystal just grabbed because I am not spill the beans, Brandy. Okay, so Christopher, if those of you who haven't joined us in a few months, you won't know what we're talking about, but that's okay. We're playing, we're having fun here. Christopher says, is it possible to have subgroups within customers? Like if a customer has multiple locations? So yes, absolutely. I'm just going to share my screen. I'm going to show you a couple things that'll make your life easier for this. So under a customer, you'll notice if you, well, I can edit those and add different locations, but if you scroll down, you're going to see additional sites and addresses. So you can add these, of course. And then whenever you have your different contacts, you can also assign those to your different locations. And then assets can also be assigned to different locations. So if I pop over in assets in RMM, you'll see the different locations here. So that's a way that you can just change those really easily. I can, of course, go into the asset itself, but I think it's easier just to do it from here. So hopefully that helps. And Evan, haven't played much with the customer portal. We're considering using Xero with a payment processor not offered directly through Syncro. Is there a way to tie in Xero's payment portal into Syncro customer portal? There is not, but we do have a two-way sync with Xero. Your customers won't be able to make their payments directly through our system, but if they do make the payment through Xero, if you send it off through there, it'll mark back as paid into our system. I think that's it for me.
I think I'm next. Oh, I just wanted to read this out loud. One Stop IT Solution says, yeah, yes, about. I read that. I just wanted to share it because I hear you guys say this on demos all the time, and this is what we're here for, the all-in-one solution. We are just as excited as you are. So yes, you do your thing. Heidi does have an update. She looks like she does have experience with Connect Booster. She says that they used it prior to moving to Syncro and it worked great. However, does not integrate with Syncro for the payment portal. Hopefully that helps. So that was in reference to that previous question as well. And then I have a comment here from Garrett. He says, search the Syncro Facebook group for the word consulting, and I dropped that link for you in the chat box. For there isn't one specific consultant that we like officially recommend through Syncro, just because please do your research and ask for recommendations and all that good stuff. So definitely in the Facebook group, if you search for the word consulting, I know that there's multiples of people in there that do offer those types of services there for you. And then Fuzi, I see your request for Wave integration. I'll pass it along to.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah. So, yeah, like Brandy said, if you're new to open office hours, you wouldn't know that Brandy is the one to ask about things that are on the way because she likes to tell people. She was like named Spill the Beans Brandy.
Not anymore.
Or she has not done that. So I'll take it. Do you have an ETA on sub policies / nested policies? So I think the most I can offer is that we've definitely, I mean, we've already made it very public that we're working on this. We have made it very, we do not want to give specific dates. And I'm sure everyone in the tech world and development world know why we don't want to give specific dates. But I think I would just recommend keeping your eyes out on Facebook and Reddit because we got a lot of really cool stuff on the way. So keep an eye out, coming soon. And then I've got a couple I was going to grab. I thought I remembered a way we can send a calendar appointment link from tickets. Am I getting old or imagining things? Gary, I don't think you're getting old. So let me just share my screen here real quick because I think what I'd like to just show is while we don't have like a direct integration to like a calendaring, like an outside calendaring system, like sending a link for someone to book an appointment, there's a few things like on an actual ticket that you can do. So if you are in a ticket, you can of course create an appointment. And when you create an appointment, you have the option to, email the invitation to the customer straight from here. So like if the location, if it was a Zoom meeting or if you were going on site or whatever it was, you can just add it all here. This wouldn't necessarily give them the ability to book their own appointment, like pick their own time, but you can do that from here. Of course, if you did have a different calendaring system, you could use the communications to send a link really quick. And Brandy showed those canned responses, so you could drop that in there pretty quickly. There's also like a calendar option for like our web, what are they called? Like the modules that you can add to your website. So there is a calendar option in there. If you wanted to have people go to your website and actually book a time, you could do that as well. And then I was just going to grab this one last one from Randy. I use Jive / Go to Connect voice phone. They're great. I can have inbound calls logged in Syncro via Zapier integration. I can't see a way to log the outbound calls though. Any ability to integrate systems other than free PBX, say with basic webhooks. So as far as like, again, like the word basic webhooks, I'm not positive, but what I do want to show you, I mean, we continue to update. We have very modern technology. And so checking out these API tokens to be able to possibly create that hook for yourself. If you create a new token here, we do have some default tokens, of course, but if you did custom permissions, like you can see that you can grab, we offer really great security for our API tokens. So this might be a way to build that, but I don't know anything just like right off the top of my head. But hopefully that's helpful.
Cool. Thank you. Charles, maybe you guys have it, but maybe I've forgotten. Is there a way to deploy the agent from the server and to install it to all endpoints? So this question's come up a lot lately, actually. We don't have like a network installer or like a probe, anything like that. We do have an MSI installer that you can install over group policy. So not a network installer at the time though. And then Roger says, what are the types of elements of Syncro that can trigger an automation or an automated ticket remediation? So I'm going to show you two different things since we're kind of like, oh, it's already 9:45, you guys. Wow. Okay. I don't know where this time went. I thought we had all the time in the world. So a couple different things. I'm going to go into ticket automations and I'll start my Brandy speech, which is really fast. Ticket automations and automated remediations. ticket automations, there's a lot of different conditions that you can set up. So they could be, you know, based on a certain status. My example here is just, okay, status is waiting on a customer and hasn't been updated in a certain number of hours. Let's resolve the ticket and email the customer. I could do this based on new ticket comes in outside of business hours, has a certain SLA. I could run this inside of business hours. So there's going to be a lot of different types of conditions that you can set up in here. In terms of automated remediations, this part is going to save you a lot of time and basically work like another technician in the back end. So you're not lifting a finger here. You can set this up to go full circle. Any of your different RMM alerts. I've got my low hard drive space trigger here that converts into a ticket. It runs a script, it emails the customer, and it clears the alert. If you're new with us, we do have an awesome community script library. We've imported a lot from there. So our list has a lot more than your 5 or 6 that come in the account. I highly suggest to import those so you'll have a long list too. You can just fix all of the issues without having to worry about it. So there's going to be a lot of types of triggers. You can be very broad, very granular with automated remediations and ticket automation. So these are going to be the ones that can generate tickets for you.
Quick clarifying question from Richard. He says, what happens if you do not use Facebook because of security issues? How do you get access to the help offered there? We do have a Syncro subreddit for those who do not like Facebook. Definitely follow us on there, post on there, and ask if you need a consultant, somebody will refer you to. And then if you look through the Q&A section, I don't have the email address of the person that was mentioned that is a consultant. So if somebody else does, you guys can put it in there, because like I said, this is not somebody that we officially work with through Syncro that we like have a official brand like approval for, if that makes sense. So either check out the Syncro subreddit. We would be working on an internal forum in the future and are hopefully looking to have that launched at some point sooner than later, hopefully. But for now, it is either Facebook or the Syncro subreddit.
Sweet. Okay. Randy, I see an integration with help desk buttons, which is awesome. One of the videos shows some scripting using Google Blockly. Any way to get something like that in Syncro? Not that I know of. I know, like, if you haven't used our scripting engine, I know, Randy, you've been using it for a while. But for those of you that are newer to Syncro, I do want to just quickly show, because a huge part of Syncro is the ability to, can you guys hear me okay? Because my internet is all of a sudden being funny.
Yep.
Okay. Might just be my, I don't know, might just be my upload speed. Okay. So what I was going to show is if you do create a new script from here, it's not Google Blockly by any means, but I don't never seen that, but we do have this PowerShell module that really helps you build a script really quickly, especially if you're reading or writing to custom fields, if you want it to automatically create a ticket, log time in a ticket. So if you haven't seen our PowerShell module, it's worth just noting that it's right here when you go to build a new script. You have the access to, different file types. PowerShell is definitely the most robust, but you can even add scripting variables. There's different variable types, especially, and this is what I'm talking about, platform variables. So that all-in-oneness is everywhere throughout the system. So you can be running a script on an RMM agent that actually refers to like a contact custom field. If you house different passwords or whatever, that not passwords, but like if it was like a customer key or something like that. So it's worth just mentioning that there. I think that was the only one I grabbed. Cool. All right, I'm done.
Next one is from Fuzi. Friendly reminder to copy links from the chat. Yes. Thank you. Super helpful. They do disappear as soon as our Zoom session is over. So please grab all of the wonderful resources we have been pasting for you. And then question from William, what is the best way to trigger a script for service is not present versus is running, is not running? So I will show you the different sections where you can find what you are looking for, and then you can decide how you want to organize this in the way that you're looking to accomplish this. So real quick, through our policies section, click into any policy, scroll down into your process and service monitors. I went ahead and I clicked edit monitors right in here, and I clicked into this service monitor that I have set up. So this is where you can say print spooler service is not running. You can say consider disabled as stopped if you want to. You can say if it has stopped after 2 minutes, then I want to automatically start the service here if that is what your goal is. And then look at this beautiful button right here. Our developers included this so that you can just click there and it will pull these settings in for you as an automated remediation. So you don't have to control or configure anything here. You can just say, yep, this is the condition, the exact settings in here. If this thing happens, I need Syncro to do XYZ. I need it to run a script from the script that you want it to fix whatever this issue is, and on and on and on. I think we've covered automated remediation a couple times on this call today, so I'm not going to dive into that, but this is how you would set that up, is directly through the policy, edit the monitor, and then pull in those settings for that service monitoring straight into your automated remediation right there.
Sweet, thank you. Fuzi says, is there a deep dive on scripting? So I dropped the scripting basics module that we have. I put that in the chat box. I think Hannah dropped another one in there too. I would recommend taking a look at that. I am not a scripter at all. I am not a technician, and I have actually run a script through here by using the training, the scripting basics. And I also tell people, if you're not a one-man shop or a one-woman shop and you have other technicians that maybe have never run a script in their life, the great thing is our scripting module is super powerful. So I wouldn't just not use it because you don't have experience with it. I would get to learn it. Doesn't take a lot of time. I would send that. I oftentimes will send that after demos just so you can share that with new technicians. Maybe keep that in like your repository of things when you hire a new technician on, hey, watch this scripting video, just so that they can get up to speed. I think it's like 30 minutes long. It's really a great one, honestly, so you can get to know the basics. And from there, you're going to be able to build on that and really get to automate a lot of things in the system.
That is fantastic advice. Yes, I agree. I was going to grab this one from William. I know I can pull a report on all invoices, but on the invoice detail screen, is there a way to pull costs basis for margin? Currently, I'm letting text create invoices from tickets to confirm it looks right and notes are reasonable before I review, but it is difficult to make sure such hardware items are properly priced versus costs. So I think the quick answer to the question is, I mean, we do have like a sales report and that kind of thing, but what I would recommend is like thinking about this like maybe in an upstream way, where how could we like resolve that issue like before it even happens. So what I would maybe recommend is in our products and services, and again, if you're adding like manual line items, that's not going to work. But like if you're selling a ton of hardware, you have the ability to set up these, where you're adding your cost and the price. So making sure if this is something, if you're constantly selling hardware or maybe the same types of hardware, I would recommend like the setup here being on point so that it's not really up to the, your technicians to be just double checking that. And then hopefully it would save you a ton of time in the long run. So again, I don't know your exact flow. You keep inventory. And what's nice about this module is that this doesn't mean your inventory has to be on site. You don't have to have like physical inventory, but if you have like a normal Dell laptop, that's what you sell to all of your customers, or if something breaks, that's what you replace it with. It's definitely worth putting in products and services here, because in addition to that, you can even add vendors. We do have purchase orders built into Syncro. So again, really leveraging the tool itself to save you time in the long run. So that's my recommendation on that. Hopefully that will work for your workflow and save you some time in that review process. All right. I just saw one come through. I haven't read it yet. Has anyone else read it, or should I read it out loud? Okay. On the automated remediation, can we pull tag info into the scripts you run? Example, you send an email, change the status, then open a ticket with a runtime variable like duration, 0.25 and task cleanup. So we can do basically one script and choose some tags to pass from the automated remediation rather than making a new script for each. I tried passing the new ticket number when creating a ticket via automated remediation, but this does not pass through. So this is one of those things that might be a little bit beyond my scripting knowledge, if I'm being really honest. Does anyone else, now that I've read that out loud, or anyone else in the community, or go ahead.
I think instead of using it as a separate like action through the automated remediation, I think you would use that ticket creation and leaving the notes as part of that script built in. So I'm going to share my screen here real quick, and I'm going to attempt this, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. Take this with a grain of salt. I don't do scripting professionally, but I wanted to show another option. So when you're building your automated remediation through Syncro, you can say as a separate action in here, run script, then clear alert, then convert to ticket. And you're right, if you're trying to add updates to the ticket, it won't know to reference this one specifically if it's a separate action. I think that's what you're getting at there. But what you could do, and again, take this with a grain of salt, please test this. In our scripting section, you can use our PowerShell module. And in there, you do have the commands that where it allows you to create the ticket as part of that same script. And so that might be a workaround that will work for you. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new script. You can do this to any edit that you need. And here, as part of the script that's automatically resolving whatever issue, you can say, as part of the script, I want it to create a ticket for me. I want it to create a ticket comment, add time, specify how much time, whether you're billing for it. So I don't know if that directly addresses your question, and your question has disappeared, so I can't go back to it real quick.
Sorry, but yes.
And then, yeah. So I think in here you can use the different tags and things like that, but I would put this all into this one script right here with that command to create a ticket from here, and then take this out right here, because then that would create a separate ticket since the script is creating the first one for you, if that makes sense. Maybe it helps, maybe it doesn't. I don't know. Just throwing some information out there.
Yeah, I appreciate that, because that, again, that PowerShell module is incredibly powerful, and definitely worth diving into, because I do think when you leverage that with automations, it'll streamline your process like crazy. I think one of Andy's, I'm sure you've heard Andy's videos or seen him on Facebook, but his favorite thing is like, you can bill time while you're sleeping, and you could do that with automated remediation and that PowerShell script. So thanks for adding on to that. Yeah, I think the last reminder, I think we've got some really great content in the chat if you guys want to make sure you grab those now. Our Q&A is empty. So last chance, we've got 3 minutes. If anyone in this, like 20 questions piling. But if anyone else has any questions, one thing I like to just kind of leave you with again, if you have not had a demo and you're in a trial of Syncro, please reach out to one of us. We're probably someone that you're either getting an email from or something. So if you would like to schedule some time for a little bit of a deeper dive of the product, please let us know. But feel free to join us every Friday. We really enjoy doing these. Hope you found some value here. Otherwise, happy Friday and have a wonderful weekend. Did I miss anything? Now there are 2 questions if anyone wants to grab them.
Might be a thought to grab the chat links and post them with the video if we don't. I don't think we do already. But
it's usually in the description.
In the description, yeah. And can we get a Friday office hours development session?
Oh, I don't know, Randy.
That would be a big ask.
Yes. Thanks, Randy. Well, awesome. Okay. I hope you all have a wonderful day, wonderful weekend, and we will see you next week. Bye.